Children in the whole second plane of development from 6 to 12 have the same characteristics. They're just maturing at different levels, at different times throughout that 6 years, but fundamentally the characteristics are the same. However, schools can choose to divide the 6 to 12 age range up into a 6 to 9 and 9 to 12 classroom. Or you can have them all together. No matter how your school decides to delineate whether you have a 6 to 12 environment or you have 6 to 9 and 9 to 12, there are some things to think about with the 9 to 12-year-olds. Again, their characteristics are the same as 6 to 9-year-olds, but they start to manifest slightly differently and in different maturity. And toward the end, they are making that transition to the next plane of development. So there are just some things to be thinking about as you consider 9 to 12-year-olds in your environment. So in the first 3 years of the child's experience in the elementary, in that 6 to 9 environment, they're eager to learn literally everything, and we need to be sowing a lot of seeds. This is a time when we're not necessarily going to see all seeds start to grow. We're not, they're going to grow at different rates, and some things will happen. You'll see the plant starting to grow. The idea has taken root, and some you may not see, but we still need to sow all those seeds in the 6 to 9 when the mind has that fertile field for that. And know that it's laying the foundation for work that can happen as they get older. So even if we don't see it grow right away, it might start growing in the 9 to 12. So we want to plant it early. So we're going to plant the seeds of a lot of concepts early, like the bulk of the work we have in our albums. We're going to plant most of the seeds of most of those concepts in the 6 to 9 classroom. Because in the 9 to 12 classroom, the child is really in the throes of passing to abstraction. So certainly that passage to abstraction is happening throughout the child's experience. That's kind of one of the fundamental things that's happening through 6 years in the child's development. But we see a lot more of that emerging in 9 to 12. I mean, it makes sense. That's when a lot of things start to click, where they go off materials for certain math things. It's an important passage that is going to be happening, and you're going to see a lot more of that with 9 to 12-year-olds. However, that doesn't mean that they should only be working with paper and pencil. We still want them to have that powerful experience of using their hands to learn. We want them to have that experience of concrete representation of concepts before they pass to abstraction. So there is very much a place for materials-based presentations in the 9 to 12 classroom or with 9 to 12-year-olds. They just might pass to abstraction more quickly, or jump back into a research project after they've used the materials a little bit. That's okay, but we don't want to just eliminate materials. They're still necessary with 9 to 12-year-olds. We do want to give the great stories every year, even for 9 to 12-year-olds, even though they've heard them years before. They're going to hear new things. Different things are going to strike different interests in them as they age. And if you have a 9 to 12 class, you could tell the stories a little differently. You could add more scientific detail, or involve the children more in the telling of the story, or helping with the demonstrations or things, because they've had some of that experience before. So be sure you're still telling them. They provide an important orientation to the children every year and sort of reconnect them to those bigger themes of gratitude and following their laws and that sense of responsibility. All of those things we want to cultivate in them. With these older children, we can revisit some of the basic concepts they've already explored. For example, the leaf factory chart. We can pull that back out and remind them of that fun story, and then explore the scientific process of photosynthesis and understand the language and the chemical reaction that's happening there, explore the chemical formula. We can go deeper into that basic concept that they've had some experience with already. If we have a 9 to 12 classroom and we're getting 9-year-olds in to our environment, we need to meet them wherever they are. So we need to be sure the environment supports them in that, and that we're giving them what they need wherever they are in their development or in a particular area of the classroom. And we also, though, need to remember to stir up new interests. So we can still try new things or present something they've already had and go deeper. And we can have conversations with them about where they're at and what they're interested in. So keep that in mind as you're getting those 9-year-olds into your classroom.